you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the Chris Voss Show.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are only things that makes official. Welcome to 16 years and 2,800 episodes of the Chris Voss Show. We've been bringing you all the most amazing minds in the world. Today, we're joined by an amazing young man at 93. He has written a book that we're going to be discussing today, and I think you'll like, and he does too. The book is entitled The Ultimate Quest, out July 30th, 2025, by Dr. Antonio Mataban. He's joining us on the show. We're going to get into it with him and find out more about his book. Welcome to the show, Antonio. How are you?
I think I'm managing fairly well.
There you go. 93. Congratulations. What a feat to get there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is this. You try to stay alive as much as you can and stay within the parameters of good fortune, and there you are.
There you are.
Yep. And I've been, I'm just, right now I'm living alone because I lost my wife, who was my co-author about a year ago. And
I'm sorry to hear that. But you wrote this beautiful book about your lives together. Is that correct?
More or less, but it's not written directly for us. It's written in more or less in a third person, just to, interpret, in other words, what the social activities going on and the many, many other things that involves a family, as it is. Originally, because I'll tell you one thing is this. When I first wrote about the book, I thought I'm going to write it for my, a recollection of all my past activities and everything else. And when my wife saw the first few pages, she looked at me and she says, this is not very nice and it's rotten looking. And I says, what do you mean? I said, well, I think you should write something. I know you can write something, but write something about some other people. And if you like to, you can always use your activities, describe your activities as theirs. And so that's what it was.
There you go. Now, you are Philippine born. You witnessed the events of World War II as you're growing up in the farming area. You graduated from the University of Santo Tomas in Manila, and you briefly practiced on the island before migrating to the United States for further training in urology. You practiced your art in Long Island, New York. After 4 years, you joined the Air Force. You retired after 21 years, a colonel, and as a urologist and flight surgeon. You served veterans for 14 years before retiring with your family in California. With your wife, 63 years you guys were married. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's right.
There you go. And 3 of your boys have been veterans and have independent professional responsibilities. There you go. That's an awesome life. So this is an epic historical fiction that spans 5 generations, beginning at the tail end of the Spanish colonial era in the Philippines, and you go through the characters and shifting tides of history. Give us a little bit more fill-in if there were. Why did you start at the Spanish colonial era in the Philippines and move through the rest of it?
Well, I'll tell you the reason why I started with the colonial area, just because of the fact that our great-great-grandfather was a Spaniard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was with the Spanish army, and originally I did not even consider that at first. And can you hold on a second, please?
If you could kick it.
Well, anyway, and so when I rewrote the book, I went back to that time, might as well, because I was going to dramatize, if you will, the events that would have taken place and why we got into the Philippines, and why we were there, and how we managed to stay stay on for so many generations. Uh,
Hmm.
by doing this in the third person, it sort of gave me a little more freedom to be able to express myself and express anything that needed to be said.
Ah, well, there you go. So, is it like a fictionalized story, maybe your family, or is it the whole thing?
Well, the whole thing is more or less fictionalized, but the activities and all the descriptions and everything else were all from my family.
Ah, there you go. Well, that's really good. That the what are you gonna? That's really good. So, what do you hope? What do you hope people learn and read from the book? What do you hope that they get when they read it?
Well, actually, when I initially started the book, I was just doing it just to kill time, if you'll excuse the expression, because
Hmm.
the fact that at the time when I was writing it, my wife was not feeling well. She was
Hmm.
so I was sitting next to her all the time, just to keeping her company and caring for her.
Hmm.
And so consequently, I used that as an excuse to kill my own time and keep myself busy and not feel bored. And I found that to be a very refreshing, if you will, refreshing. State of my health at that time. And so
There
every
you
day I was writing it, and every day we have a new subject to talk about, with my wife's reading every one of the pages and correcting whatever she need.
go. Hmm. And what a great story. And now you talk about your kids in the book and what they did.
I beg your pardon.
Uh, uh, it tells a story about your children and raising them and living your life with them together.
Well, our children has been with us all along. Since they were, except for a couple of years when I moved from the Philippines to the United States, and they were left behind for a while. But then after that, they've been with us all together until we have retired, and they have their own families and so forth.
Mm. Mm. There you go. Well, it's an interesting life you lead. And do you find that maybe it's a story about immigrating to America as well, and integrating, and of course raising a family here, and living the American dream, maybe?
I apologize, sir. I didn't catch what you were saying.
Sure. Do you think do you see that it's a great story for uh immigrants coming to America and finding the American dream and living the American dream?
Oh, I think it is. As a matter of fact, that was the intention. Well, that was secondary intention, actually. I thought it was just when I wrote the book, I just wrote it for people who are
Hmm.
interested in reading, keeping their time busy, and reading
Hmm.
any material that they can lay their hands on. And
Hmm.
then, as a matter of fact, I did never thought about this advancing to this stage, as a matter of fact. And I found that to my own satisfaction, that I have are actually bounced beyond the boundaries of my expectations.
Mm. Mm. There you go. Well, you found the right boundaries now, I suppose, when it comes down to it. One other thing. Let's see here. Do you see writing maybe future books about this in your family, or maybe future insights as well?
I'm sorry, say it
Do
again.
you find that what do you cite your future interests are in doing stuff? Is there any future books of stories that you're going to tell?
Are there any stories that I accept?
No, is there any future books maybe coming out?
Oh, right now, as a matter of fact, I'm writing a second book, and again about the Philippines, and
Hmm.
about this one addresses one particular place in the country where I grew up in, especially during the Japanese occupation. where I
Hmm.
learned a lot of things to grow up in and become more mature, if you'll excuse the expression. I learned a lot of things up there, and that is still being clarified. I have not even I have already done the initial phase of it, and I'm going to review the whole thing once I have the time.
Hmm. So there is another book coming. Is that
There
correct?
may be, and I don't know, not this year, so not soon enough.
Okay, there you go. Historical fiction. Did your wife get a chance to read the book before she passed?
Well, no, yes, part of it, because as soon as she took more ill it is, she could no longer read. So,
Oh,
well,
okay.
but at least one thing is this: I can only say one thing, that she contributed to about 85 to 90% of the book.
Ah, there you
Yes.
go. Plus, she was there the
Oh,
whole
she was.
time. Is there all 5 decades, 5 generations actually? I stand
Well,
corrected.
no, uh, it started with my generation, but then I went back farther because of the fact that I wanted to include the history behind my family.
There you go. Blending the. Was it hard to create storytelling where you blend fiction with reality?
It was exactly a very challenging thing. It was not difficult, but it was challenging because of the
Hmm.
fact that you have to be very sure that what you are telling is are events that have actually happened. Like for
Hmm.
instance, there's an instance over there whereby a cousin of mine who was a prisoner of war during World War II, he escaped and is able to go back to our hometown. But everybody knew about him, and the Japanese would be looking for him. So consequently, we had to find a way to hide him. And
Oh wow.
where else can we hide him? We gave him under the auspices of the church, and the church, the priest over there, who is happened to be very close to the family, decided that he will do all right, and he will live in the belfry during the entire course of the Japanese occupation and serve
Hmm.
as an assistant in the altar. That's what it was.
Ah, ah. The yeah, it's interesting the journeys that happen there. World War II probably affected your family a lot. Is that correct?
I'm sorry.
World War II had some effect on your family as well.
Well, World War II has, has more or less. I have to give credit to World War II because it sort of taught me a lot of things to be mature rather early. And then,
Hmm.
World War II came in when I was only about 10 years of age, and from there, within the next 4 or 5 years, I learned to mature so quickly, and that's how it was written in the book too, in a different manner though.
Hmm. There you go. Uh, there you go. So what are some other aspects of the book maybe we haven't talked about that you want people to know?
Well, somebody asked me why the title, "The Ultimate Quest," and why when they saw the cover with
Hmm.
the volcano. That volcano happens to be the only volcano we have in the Philippines, Mayon volcano, that has a beautiful outline and everything else that that pointed from a wide base to a very narrow top. And I remember many years ago when I was still a student, at I had I invited a couple of my friends and we tried to climb the mountain, see if we could go up to the very top. Unfortunately, it was so densely that it was so dense and the trees and everything else that we could only climb halfway. But the only reason that this like an analogy, you go from a wide base problem to eventually went up into a point of success, and that's where the top of the volcano was, and that's where
Oh
it.
wow. So a volcano is a really important analogy in your book, then.
Well, it's symbolically,
And that's what's on the cover of the book, as it were.
yes.
Uh, the ultimate quest. And so, how well has the book been received? What does your family think about being fictionalized in a book?
Well, I don't know how to describe it, but the fact is this: now that they're getting me interviewed or getting me to chat with you, that
Mhm.
seems to boost me up a little bit. But other than that, to me, it's just like a regular old-fashioned author who likes to have
Mhm.
his books be read, and that's about it.
All right. All right. Well, anything more we need to know before we go out on the show about what's in the book and how it goes?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Anything more we need to know about in the book before we go out?
Actually, I think we have more or less presented all the subjects of interest regarding the book, its
Mm.
origination, its
Mhm.
authors, and the purpose of the book, and all that. And that's about all I can possibly explain or expound to you.
All right. Sounds good then. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on the show and get into the details of this, Antonio. Thank you very much for coming out.
My pleasure. As a matter of fact, I look forward to this interview, and I'm so glad that you have the patience, if you will, to tolerate me because of my difficulty sometimes in hearing you because of my hearing problem. But,
There you go. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on. Thank you, Antonio.
all right, good night. Thank you very much, sir, and I do appreciate very much your time.
Thank you. Folks, order up his book wherever fine books are sold. It's called The Ultimate Quest, out July 30th, 2025 by Dr. Antonio Mataban. Thanks for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places in it. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right. Well, there you